Hello and welcome to another episode of Arms Ranked. We've got some pretty good matches today. We first have a rematch against Gabby Cats. Then we have a match against PS Fluffy, Flysta, and Blunt. And we also ran into Flysta again after not rematching. So let's get into this. So starting off with Gabby Cat, I went ahead and equipped the Roaster against her just because I knew she was probably going to use Mechanica, although she does use Ninjara as well. And I think Via Dulce is a stage that she really thrives in because if there's one thing I really noticed about her, it's that whenever she's up close, she's an absolute monster, but from a distance, she's hardly a threat at all because of how readable she can be. But yeah, if she gets up close to you, you gotta do whatever you can to run away, but on this stage there's really nowhere you can run away to. It's so small and full of corridors. I go ahead and rush, and I probably should have stalled a bit, like rushed, but then just sort of waited a bit for her to move before continuing to rush, but she just blocks it. But yeah, I'm just cornered again and have nowhere to run from that clapback. So on to round 2, I went ahead and flipped double Slamamanders to go around her clapback, and that was kind of odd what she was doing there. At first I thought that was like bait, and then I eat my own fate, or own fist. But I ended up getting a grab, and she ended up getting a grab too. 2 grabs, so that's really clever of her. And I'm trying to run away, but there's really nowhere to run in this course. I do manage to break free from the shock just in time to land a rush on her, though. And this is what I'm talking about. See, like, from a distance, she can't really do anything to me. Although I still hadn't quite figured out how to continually hit her from a distance at this point. I do land a grab on her. Oh yeah, also she was rank 20 when I encountered her. Oh, and she finished me off with a rush. I think I was in the air, so that was good. But she was rank 20 in this match, and then I don't know why, but in this match, when she rematched, she went down to rank 19, even though she won. But anyway, we got Mausoleum, which I was very happy with because it means there's not really anywhere I can be cornered. Plus, if the center of the stage breaks, she really cannot get close to me at all. Unless she decides to use the trampoline, which would probably actually be in her favor. But yeah, with the Slamamanders, I'm able to just keep her away and then charge up. I read the block, which was surprising because she doesn't usually block. And that would have been pretty cool if I could get another up-close grab, but I grabbed too early. But yeah, I was able to pretty cleanly take her out this first round. And then I'm noticing just the way she's playing is she'll use both her arms, and then she's just completely vulnerable to really any curving arm. We both rush, but I'm using that hovering while rushing thing to get out of the way, and then my Slamamanders go around her. And I think he's just playing too aggressively and overextending here. If she were to maybe take a step back and try to approach me instead of just aggressing, then she would have done a bit better. So I now I have rush charge. And I try to jump out of the way in order to like counter rush her, but she's able to catch me with the revolver. Had I not jumped, that would have definitely hit her. And now she's on the magic pixel, but I'm able to read the block again and finish her off. But she did a lot better with the revolver than the Hydra. So third round is on Cinemadoo, which at first I was a little like annoyed with because she jumps a lot and Cinemadoo tends to favor jumpers, but it ended up working out just fine for me. She switched to Ninjara. I'm not exactly sure why, but it made it so I didn't necessarily have to charge my arms in order to thwart her, I guess, because she doesn't have super armor anymore. Also, she's using the popper now, the cracker, and cracker in the right hands can be a real nuisance, but I definitely think that Gabby Cats does a lot better with the revolver because it's a lot better for a super aggressive weapon in my opinion, just because it covers so much more area, at least at a closer range. At a longer range, the cracker and poppers generally do better, which might be why she switched to the cracker. But yeah, also, I'm able to finish her off very cleanly. This next round, she switched to double retortures, which I'd be concerned at first, but ended up, I guess, not really being that big a deal. And I get knocked down, but she's not able to get the full combo. That shield, I didn't notice it the first time. That was kind of funny looking. I get the rush, but unfortunately not the full damage. And that was pretty clever of her to wait for me to overextend and then punish me with a wall of retorture shots. But I'm trying to be careful not to do that again, so I have at least one arm to defend myself and run away with. A lot of dashing back and forth as well. And yeah, I really think that Gabby Cats, when she's up close, especially with the clapback, she's a monster, like I said. But I think overall she just needs to play more patiently and more defensively. She's getting better at reading, but otherwise this playstyle is only going to take her so far. It's not to say she's a bad player, though. She has taken down some of the greats. And I think it's just a human thing that I somehow knew right at that moment she was going to grab. Like, there was no real indication. It's just sort of like, okay, that was just enough dashes, and now I know she's going to do something, because no one is just going to keep doing that for that long. Anyway, though, next game against PS Fluffy, unfortunately there was a bit of lag. I wouldn't say it's unbearable, but it kind of made it, this match look very strange. I honestly think the games against this player were just very strange in general. Or they just didn't feel like usual games. This first round I did pretty well in, but the second round was a lot more close. Spoiler alert. But yeah, there's a lot of... I know the Slim emitter has a weird hitbox, but I feel like some of those should at least have hit. And that was pretty epic of them. They blew me up, and then if I had blocked it, then I would have just blocked it. But I just had to be aggressive and stupid to continue rushing. But yeah, I have seen people combo off the explosion of someone else's own arms, but I've never had it done to me because Mechanica Super Armor usually prevents that sort of thing. And anyway, sort of punch him. On to round 2, though. The Megawatt gives me more trouble this round. I think they're figuring out a bit better how to use him more effectively. I'm able to land a rush on him, and it looks very strange, but it does get the full damage. And I thought this round was going to be really easy, but they ended up just shocking me a bunch later on. Because I was like, oh, well, this is not going to last very long, especially after reading the rush. But, oh, how wrong I was. So they start with knocking me down with the roaster, and then they hit me with the Megawatt twice. I just block it the third time. The Megawatt is one of the arms that is not very great whenever someone blocks it, because it's kind of like the boomerang where it just sort of falls down. That was a missed input on my part, and not even due to motion controls, just, I don't even know, I guess my finger slipped. But yeah, this round is really dragging on longer than I think it should have. I'm kind of disappointed in myself. And then I just see that there's 10 seconds left. I know they were going to use the rush there because they, besides grabbing, they really didn't have an option. I'm just able to get out of the way of it, and despite shocking me, they're not able to respond to it in time. So, good game, I guess. That was just weird. Okay, good game for real. And our next opponent is Flysta. This guy was, or girl, I don't know. This person was pretty annoying, just in the sense that the first round, it was the normal round, but the second round, they won and then they taunted afterwards, which just bugged me. And then whenever I just ended up encountering them again, they were taunting a lot, and I think the first round, I don't know, like, I think taunting is fine, but it has to be done with consideration, because if you're taunting someone who you just demolish, it just seems like adding salt to the wound. And I mean, I guess it's fair mental gameplay. Unfortunately for them, the explosion blew them up. But it just seems kind of mean whenever you're taunting someone who you don't really know. If you're playing with friends and then you taunt them in a not serious match, that's fine. But when you're playing against random people, you never really know. They might be having a bad day and you just made it worse. It might, or who knows. I missed the combo there. Again, I think I missed another combo against Gabby Cats as well. But I've got to get better at those. I was expecting the rush, and that was about the last rush I expected from them. Because, this player was different from others in the sense that most players, whenever they have rush, they try and get grabs on you to take advantage of that. But this guy, they just went for it pretty much every time, if I recall correctly. Except like one time where they actually did grab. But yeah, he switched to double roasters, which was smart. I am able to land a rush on him and finally do that thing I talked last time where it's like, but yeah, they just went for it. They didn't try and stall it out. Where like the one arm was extended and then I'm able to rush them off of that. I go ahead and jump because I didn't have another option. And my health is about half of theirs, although it's a bit closer now that I've hit him with the Slam-O-Mander. And that grab, I wasn't expecting, but luckily the jump was able to counter it. And I can't take one more hit. I'm able to do that dumb thing where you punch but you don't break the grab. But one hit away, I didn't expect that they would want to use their rush to finish me off with this low health, and I was correct, they did not finish me off with the rush. I grabbed and, yeah, look at that. I grabbed and they broke it. Not sure why they switched to the bird shot. But yeah, once again, they just go for that rush. They don't hesitate at all. So I think it was around this point where I noticed, or maybe earlier, that they were getting better reads on the directions I was going. And this grab kind of looked weird. It was like no hesitation. And yeah, I think I might have been kind of salty after getting taunted, but it seems playing the close range game is working out. I was expecting them, too bad the nade didn't hit the roaster. I was expecting them to jump and grab like they had before, but alas, they just blocked. And if you saw, they taunted once more, and they didn't even rematch afterwards. That just seems kind of like, what's even the point of taunting if you're not going to rematch? But yeah, once again, there's no hesitation. They just go ahead and rush. So next opponent is Blunt. I'm not sure if they're making a joke like, hits Blunt, because yeah, I just hit Blunt, haha, I get it. But that was a pretty good bait. I should take note from that, even though for the most part I think I did pretty well against them. But I was pretty impressed by that, because is like next level, so I thought they would shield, but they thought that I thought that they would shield, so they instead tried to counter it, even though it didn't quite work out. Also, like, playing Springtrons is very strange, because a lot of high-level players seem to just prefer Springman. Just because who really falls for his EMP at a higher level. But I was just trying to play a bit cautious, because I have seen Springtron players who fake out EMPs. Maybe if I'd punched with the nade, I would not have taken the Coolerang hits. Would have been worth the risk, I think, because I didn't really have any other options. If I had rushed, I probably would have KO'd them, and that would have been a better option, but I just went for the safer nade. I went ahead and used the rush to de-ice myself. Oops, sorry. Since rushes for poison and ice, I know for sure. And I don't know about blind, but blind doesn't last that long anyway. And they're able to sort of catch me in a dash and rush me up. So they're finally able to get away from me while I'm knocked down to have a safe EMP, which is very good for them because they can just go absolutely nuts on me. And I go ahead and go for the nade, but it was not a direct hit, so they're able to reap the rewards of getting the EMP. Luckily I knocked them down, so now they're just back to Metal Springman. And once again, I think it was just coming off the other player that I was a bit more cautious of rushes. And that EMP, like, this guy was rank 19. He should not have been doing that sort of nonsense. But, yeah. So now he's got low health. I just need one hit of pretty much anything to take him out, and that's exactly what I get. So, good game, Blunt. And I was just going to finish it off after the match with Blunt, but since he didn't rematch, the game immediately matched me up with Flysta again, and they had switched to Dr. Coil, no clue why, but this was probably beneficial for me because I have very little experience playing against Dr. Coil. Well, relatively little compared to the other characters, because not a lot of people actually use her despite her being very good. Anyway, though, they're using double toasters, which, I don't know, it just seems very, very much like a good Coil combo. But I think they just hesitated because the grab stun, like they rushed after grabbing and it just stunned them for so long that I was able to block. But yeah, I went ahead and rushed, and they were able to knock me down again. It seems like jumping is not the best strategy against Coil, despite it seemed that way for a time, like, oh, she's super high up in the air. She finally gets a good grab read on me. So, yeah, and if you saw that, she taunted again. Not sure why they switched to the Slapamander, but I don't think it worked out for them. I think if they had continued going double toasters, they would have won. But I'm playing a bit more defensively, trying not to overextend. That was a very lucky grab. I think that was a missed input, actually, just because of the motion controls. But I don't know what it is with whenever I misinput a motion control grab, it lands. So anyway, I do break her rush with the bomb, and that was very strange looking. I thought I had her there, but unfortunately she knocks me down with the fire. I still get some delayed hits. There appears to be some lag again, but she gets a good grab. But luckily it's not as impactful as other lag. And I'm not referring to the fluffy match, I'm just saying, generally speaking, I've seen worse lag. But yeah, I think against this Coil player, the mid-range works out best, because if you get too close, you can't really escape her. She is the high ground, so she just gets free hits. But if you're too far away, there's not much you can do. And she definitely should have shielded that. She would not have won that rush if it was grounded, and she definitely would not have won that in the air. But she switches back to double toasters, and she's taking advantage of 3 arms to overwhelm me, but also, like, I don't know why the 3rd arm builds up rush. It seems a little OP because she can build up rush extremely fast. Combined with her other abilities, it's already insane. And anyway, I'm able to block in time, thankfully. And I don't know why I tried to grab then rush. I should have just chosen one or the other, because one of them potentially could have landed if I didn't interrupt the other. But yeah, it's just kind of footsies into neutral for the majority of this game. Like, I'm able to hit her with an explosion here and there, but that's about it. Timer's at 30 seconds and we both have rush, but I don't think either of us is very confident that we can land it. However, now I notice that I have the health lead, meaning if I can just stall her out for the remaining 20 seconds, then I don't think she's going to want to approach me. And that was, I think she's trying to bait me now, because 10 seconds left. She wants me to use my rush so that I'll miss her, and then she can use hers. But I just go ahead and use my rush. I don't care that she blocked it, I just was stalling for time. And I'm able to just land a last second grab, which was nice, and you may not have seen it, but I'm taunting with my arms. So, anyway, that was the final game. Good games, Flysta, and once again, good games to everyone who was featured in this episode. Bye, have a nice day.